YBN Cordae. Now, I've been wanting to do this for the longest time, but my lazy ass can't seem to get my shit together. But here we are, we're doing it. There's not a ridiculous amount of bars in this, but I just think the album's a masterpiece anyway, so I had to do it. It's definitely in my top 3 for this year, and I mean, I've been banging it ever since it came out. So, here we go. Best bars.
Reminisce the times, please take me back. Aiming for the top, I'm on target like a Brady pass. Did a show for 80 cash and threw it in my lady bag. That was fucking easy money, sniper on my KD swag. Thought about quitting, I'm a warrior, can take a jab.
Cordae explains how he's aiming for the top, saying that he's on target like a Brady pass. Tom Brady's an American footballer and he's got a pass completion rate of 64%, so most of his passes are on target. And then he explains how he did a show for 80 cash, and then says it was easy money sniper, which refers to KD, Kevin Durant, a professional basketball player, and easy money sniper is his nickname. And this might be a little bit of a reach, but the way he says it, because he says easy money and then like sniper like separately, sniper on my KD swag, that might be a slight reference to like sniper kill death ratio, I don't know, Call of Duty, I don't know, if he plays games, he might. And then the last line referring to Warriors, which was Kevin Durant's old team, the Golden State Warriors.
I'm not really with the high flashing, it's no helping with my bragging. I penetrated, been the greatest, new house, renovated. I got the juice, you eliminated.
Now I could explain this bar, but I'm going to let the artist do that for us. Like lemonade. I got the juice, you eliminated. You know what I'm saying? That's another form of juice. But you eliminated as well. Because I got the juice. I got the juice, you eliminated.
I done been around the world 4 times looking for parking. Finally found a condo that shit still feel like apartment. Out south, my foul mouth started sounding like Cartman. Roundabout like cartwheels, hopped inside of a U-Haul, confused where all my art went. Monsters in a quiet place. Some of these decisions is like Sharpie on a dry erase. I know they thought I wouldn't, but I'm fireplace.
Woohoo! Nah, this verse is quality by chance. He starts it off with the South Park reference, referring to himself as Cartman. And obviously, Cartman's very loud and swears a lot, as there is a lot of swearing in that show. And then he goes on to say, confused where all my art went, monsters in a quiet place. This could be referring to the time where after he dropped acid rap, but he kind of went ghost for a bit. And apparently he was addicted to Xanax and he kind of went a bit downhill. So he could be referring to his inner demons, but then he's also referring to the show, A Quiet Place, where obviously you have to be quiet because the monsters are going to get you if you're loud, and that's it, you know. He stayed to himself. Also, I know I just kind of said it, but I just want to reiterate because I just thought of it right now as I'm looking back at this. Art, music is seen as art, you're artists, so yeah, that could be like a direct link. Confused where all my art went. Like, he's like, well, I'm not making music, what's going on? And then the Sharpie on a dry erase, I'm assuming that's what they call a whiteboard or something like that. You're not meant to use Sharpies on them, you're meant to use the actual markers designed for them so you can rub them off easily, because after you do that they're kind of permanent. Well, there are ways to get them off, but for the most part they're permanent. And I saw this point that someone made on Genius that I thought was pretty good. They were saying that they are permanent, but you can get them off by using like chemicals and like alcohol, which also could be a metaphor to describe how people, when they go down dark paths, they turn to drugs as sort of an escape, which also could link back to the Xanax part. This could be a lot more deeper than I initially thought. I'm not sure. If Chance meant this, he's a fucking genius. And then to put the icing on the cake of this part here, they thought I wouldn't, but I'm fireplace. Wouldn't, but I'm fireplace. Like, wooden fire, like, it's mad. It's just, don't know what to say.
I bought a Montclair coat for the times where it broke. I'ma wear it in the summer on LeBron James boat. Front row, duh, bro. We don't sit on nosebleeds. Ain't your pockets obese? They won't fit in those seats. And we like a cold team. Nigga Shaq and Kobe. Like back in 03. I was only like 6. I was like 16. But I can give her 16. I can make a bitch scream. That's a bit extreme. I got a thick ball, bitch. I call her Miss Clean. My drip frosty like house and Listerine.
Now, I had to include this verse just because of how clean the back and forth is on it. They're pretty much just flexing throughout, talking about buying Montclair coats, being on LeBron James' boat, getting front row seats, which ain't cheap. They talk about nosebleeds, and nosebleeds, if you don't know, are like top seats in the stadium, and they're called this because of the altitude that they're at, can sometimes cause people to have actual nosebleeds, hence the name. And then when he says, I can give a 16, he's referring to the average length of a rap song. When I first heard it, I thought he said, I can give her 16. Which don't really make sense when you think about it, but the next line where he says, I can make a bitch scream, it just adds to the confusion there. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Then Anderson .Paak comes in with some bars at the end. Mr. Clean is a cleaning product with a bald guy as its kind of logo, so that's a reference to this thick bald bitch. And then the drip is often used to describe someone's fashion sense or jewelry, which normally costs quite a bit. So he uses the word drip and frosty, but compares them to Halls, which is a menthol cough drop medicine, and then Listerine, which is a mouthwash, which both leave you with a cooling effect in the mouth, hence the drip being frosty.
10th grade, somersaulting all them crack flips. Asterisk, skip school, recorded with the Neptunes. We was making high school classics. Before I took a kilo and I wrapped it around the funeral with the casket. Yeah, coke avalanche like a landslide. Only grew my hair this long because my man died.
So the Neptunes are actually a music duo that included Pharrell Williams and Shad Hugo. I never knew who Shad Hugo was before this, but obviously everyone knows Pharrell Williams. And then in the early 2000s, after Pusha left school, him and his brother, No Malice, formed a group called Clips, and then they eventually signed with the Neptunes. That's a little fun fact. And then the next line, he's talking about rapping drugs and then talking about rapping about them. But it's a bit confusing because obviously they're the same words spelt differently. Well, they sound the same at least. So there's no way to actually tell what way round he said it, because he could be saying before he actually rapped drugs, he was rapping about them, implying that he was like lying technically. Or it could be before he actually rapped about them, he was legitimately rapping drugs. There's mixed views on this. Some people are saying it's one way, some people are taking it literally and saying the other way. But I've done a little bit of research, and Pusha's 42, born in 1977. He formed this group, the Clips, with his brother in 1992, which would make him 15 at the time of forming that. So let's say about like 14, 15, he was writing about it. I mean, he could be rapping drugs at that age. Some people do. Like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And then The Funeral that he talks about is actually a 1999 single from Pusha's would-be debut album from the Clips. But this actually never got properly released. Well, it was released and had a music video, but then the label they were with shelved the album. So the only way you can find it is via leaked versions online. And then obviously Coke Avalanche, like a landslide. It wouldn't be a Pusha verse if he's not talking about coke or some drugs in some way. And he's pretty much saying, comparing it to snow, which is another word for cocaine, white avalanche, you know what I'm saying?
On the late night, swimming with the great whites, drowning in the deep waters. Know you got 3 daughters, could use some resources. Nah, we just need order. I got my own bad news, fuck a reporter. Niggas ain't even safe, they wanna deport us. I'd rather keep us boxed in on the street corners. If you gon' stop and frisk a nigga shit, at least warn us. My dog's still on probation, they got a leash on us.
The bad news reporter line is very slick. Then he goes on to say how Meek is still on probation, which is mad because he was convicted over 10 years ago, might even be 11 years now. But on the 24th of July 2019, just 2 days before this album was released, Meek finally announced that he was off probation. So that's like perfect timing for when this dropped. But then Cordae also uses the term dog with leash to portray how they feel trapped.
Do I want this shit? I said hell yeah, I'm ready. When I put the crown on, it was heavy. I was drowning in my past like when Katrina broke the levees in New Orleans.
Here Meek uses the natural disaster Hurricane Katrina as a metaphor to explain his troubled past. This is one of the worst hurricanes in history. It killed thousands of people. And he uses the term drowning in his past as the hurricane flooded many areas, especially New Orleans when the levees broke.
They ain't believe in me.
Yeah.
I won't make it.
Okay, I reminisce the cold days in wintertime. Got home by dinner time. 7-Eleven runs, Gatorade flavor lemon lime. Hot Cheetos, Arizona's oranges, Clementine. The first job I ever applied for was Finish Line.
The first line's a reference to the very first song on the album, Wintertime, and then he goes on to tell us his classic shop routine from 7-Eleven. Finish Line is a shop which sells athletic clothes, shoes and other accessories, but it's funny how the shop's called Finish Line when technically he's at the start of his career. But how far he's come already, a lot of people would probably be happy with this as an endpoint, just due to the money and fame he's already gathered.
My goodness, my God, my gracious. Got a bad little bitch, my favorite. And I eat the pussy like it's caviar. Nigga, I ain't talking about that playlist. Most necessary, cold February, flow never buried, shit is everlasting.
He compares eating pussy to eating caviar, which is an expensive salted fish roe delicacy, while also referring to the playlist on Spotify Rap Caviar, which features the newest and most popular hip hop music. The next line, where he says most necessary, is also referring to a Spotify playlist, where following the release of his album, Cordae became the cover artist for this playlist.
Later call me Mike Jones, I'm still tipping. Call up Scotty with the shotty cause I feel pippin'. I'm a real Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil, listen. And tell Will Smith how I kill shit. And to please adopt a young nigga, man, I'm trying to get real rich. Now I'm playing. Shout out to Jaden. So iconic how I go Super Saiyan. New bitch foreign straight from the Himalayas. On top soon, Lord knows I've been praying. Cause I'm on my grind. Why try a kickflip? Money notorious. I'm buying big shit.
In the lines before, he talks about Fresh Prince, which is obviously the show that Will Smith starred on. And then he goes on to mention Jaden, Will Smith's son, who is also a rapper. Iconic refers to Jaden's song Icon, and then he goes on to say Super Saiyan, which is a reference to Dragon Ball Z, where a character would transform into their most powerful form, which is also another link to one of Jaden's songs called Goku, and Goku's the main character from the Dragon Ball Z franchise. And then he says that this new foreign bitch, here he's talking about his girlfriend Naomi Osaka, who is a professional tennis player from Japan. Cordae stated in an interview on Hot 97 that he didn't actually know who she was when he met her, because he doesn't know anything about tennis, and the only person he really knows is Serena Williams, so that's quite funny. Being on your grind means that you're working really hard, and in his case he's taking music serious, but also in skateboarding, a grind is the name of a trick where the skater would use the trucks to slide on a ledge or a rail, and then obviously a kickflip is just another trick. And then in the last line he uses the Notorious B.I.G.'s rap name to explain how he's making a lot of money and buying big shit with it. So yeah, that's the end of that. Best bars, YBN Cordae, The Lost Boy. Me personally, I'd give this album like a 9.5 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It's very, very solid in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. If there was any bars that I missed, let me know what they are in the comments below. Let me know what your favourite bar was out of these selections that I chose. But anyway, that's been me. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe, that really helps, and yeah, in a bit.